Hi, this is Mrs. Kalanicki. Sorry I'm out today, but I want you guys to work on some review for your test. So I want you to first take out your review packet. We're going to go over the answers from your last 2 nights of homework. And then you're going to work on some more practice today, and the video will review the answers with you. It's just to prepare for your test this week. Okay. So the first page of your homework was a lot of formulas. Here's your triangle formula. Triangle formula is 1/2 base times height. When you're talking about base and height, you're talking about these 2 dimensions. Here is the base of a triangle down here, and the height again is not a angled measurement. It's not a slanty side. It's a straight up and down side that will make a T with the base. So these guys make the letter T upside down. And that's what you're looking for. And if you see like a little square like this, that means that they meet at a right angle, which is what you're looking for a base and a height. Area of a square or a rectangle is just length times width. So again, a length and a width, or vice versa. You're going to multiply those 2 sides together to get the area of that shape. A parallelogram, as drawn up here, again has a base and a height. You want to focus on the base and the height being straight up and down, and again looking for that little square to denote that that's a right angle. So that would be your base and this would be your height, not these slanty sides. Formula for a circle, you should all know. Area equals pi r squared. Apple pies are 2. And a semicircle, just a slight deviation from a circle's formula. It's pi r squared but divided by 2 because you're talking about half of a circle, not a full circle. Okay. And then finally the 2 formulas at the bottom. Perimeter of any shape, you just add all the sides up. And for a circle, we call that, what's the C stand for? Circumference. Circumference equals pi times c. So cherry pies are delicious, apple pies are too. Those are the 2 formulas you need to know for your circles. And the rest of the guys you need to know for the other shapes that we're talking about. If you need to pause the video to take a look at these more, that's fine. If not, move on to the next. Here we go. So find the perimeter and area of the following shape. Okay, so perimeter is when we add all the sides. So I have to add all the sides of this shape. So far I have most of the sides, but I am missing 2. So I'm going to start with this guy. I am missing this side. How do I figure out the missing side? I look at the other dimensions of this shape that have this direction of side. So this is a horizontal side. I see another horizontal side here and another horizontal side here. It looks like the 14 is the biggest of the 2 sides, and the 12 being a smaller side. So if I do 14 and subtract the 12, what I'll be left with is 2. Which makes sense, because if I drew this 2 up here, it would make 2 plus 12 would make 14. So there's my one missing side. My other missing side is vertical, so I'm looking here. If I see the other 2 vertical sides of this shape, I see this side and this side. Now I notice that the one I'm missing is actually the longest of the sides. So it looks like if I add this side and add this side together, I will get my longest side. So my 6 plus another 6, because I have 6 here and 6 here, will make 12. So 12 is that missing side. And now I can add all the sides up and get my final answer. I'm getting my calculator out. I don't know if you have it out already, but if you have the answer, if you don't have the answer, you're working on it right now. So I have to add 14 plus 6 plus 12 plus 6 plus 2 plus 12. And yes, you do have to show this work on your test. So I'm adding all these up right now. And I got 52. Is it going to fit on my screen? It does. 52 meters. Okay, I'm going to need some erasing so I can work on the area of this shape. Okay. Now I need to find the area of this shape. That was the second part of the direction. So there's the perimeter area. Okay, this funky shape does not have a formula by itself, but I can break it into 2 shapes. I can break it either this way and make a really skinny rectangle here and a regular size rectangle there, or I can cut it this way. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. I'm going to cut it this way. If I know right now I already have the dimensions of the bigger guy. The bigger guy is 14 on this side and 6 on the other side. This 12 doesn't count because it's not the full side of this rectangle. So my first shape is a rectangle. And the formula for a rectangle we just talked about, length times width. And the length and the width, 14 and 6. And again, I want to see all three of these steps. The formula step, the plugging in step, and your answer step. 14 times 6 is 84. So that's my first shape. That's shape 1. Now I have to do shape 2. Well, there's 6. My other dimension we figured out before was 2. So shape 2 is also a rectangle. And again, I'm going to use my 3 steps. 3 steps. First step is the formula. Rectangle formula, length times width. Second step, plug in. 6 times 2. Third step, multiply and get my answer, 12. So now the first area is 84. The second area is 12. I'm going to add those two together. 84 plus 12, and I'm going to get my final area, 96 meters. This time it's squared. Perimeter's distance is not squared because I just used linear feet. I'm going around the shape. It's meters. Area is squared because I'm going to cover this in squares, just like the floor tiles in our classroom. Okay, next problem, next page. Find the perimeter and area of the following semicircles. So area of a semicircle. Apple, pi is R2, divided by 2. That's my area formula for both of these guys. Equals pi r squared divided by 2. Now I'm looking at this shape and I notice that both of them are a little bit different. This is actually the radius. But this guy is the diameter. So I cannot use d, or diameter, in my formula that has an r in it. So I need to do something with this. To go from a diameter to a radius, I have to cut this in half. So 105 divided by 2, cut in half, will get me 52.5. So that's the number I'm going to use for my radius. So again, here's my formula, my plug-in step. I'm going to use 3.14 for pi. My r is 52.5. I'm going to square that. And I'm going to divide my answer by 2. So 52.5 squared times 314. And all of that divided by 2. I had a really big number here. Wow. I get, looks like 4,327, and we'll round it 0.3. And this is meters squared. I'm going to move this guy over here so it doesn't get all messed up. There we go. Now, this guy over here, the area of this shape. I have my formula already laid out. This is my plug-in step, 3.14 for pi, 14 7/10 for r. I'm going to square that and divide it by 2. If you didn't have the answer already done, you're putting it in your calculator and doing it with me right now. You should get an area of 339.3 if you're rounding kilometers squared. Okay, so now that you have your two areas for your semicircles, now we're going to do perimeter. So for the perimeter of the first guy, perimeter is the distance around this circle, this semicircle. What we need for this is a formula. Formula for perimeter, also known as circumference. I'm just going to draw a line down here. C equals, for circumference, cherry, pies are delicious. However, this is a half of a circle, so we have to cut our formula in half. I'm going to extend my page to have a little more room. There we go. Alright, so using my formula, C equals, pi is 3.14. My diameter, look back up at my shape, is 105, 105, divided by 2. Okay, putting that in my calculator, 3.14 times 105 divided by 2. And I get 164 and 85 hundredths. Now that distance represents this distance around the semicircle. The only thing I need to include now, if I'm going all the way around the shape, is this 105 that I started with. So I have to add 105.00 to this shape. And my final answer for this guy is 269 and 85 hundredths, and that is in meters. So that is the circumference, that is the perimeter of that semicircle. Half the circumference plus the 105. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Same formula, C equals pi times d divided by 2. Now if I go up and look at this shape, it does not have a diameter, it has a radius. The radius is 14.7. I have to double it or add another 14.7 on it to get the whole diameter. So 14.7 times 2 gets me 29 and 4/10. So C equals 3.14 for pi. The diameter is 29.4. And all that gets divided by 2. 29.4 times pi divided by 2 gets you 46.158 thousandths. And again, same thing. After I get this answer, which is only representing the distance around the curved part, I need to add on the extra 29.4 for my diameter. My diameter is 29.4. So I'm going to add on another 29 and 4/10 to get my final answer of 75 and 558 thousandths. And this one is kilometers. And again, perimeter is in regular measurements, and area is in square units, so units squared. All right, the next page has your answers already on it. Find the perimeter and area of the shape. Perimeter is add all the sides. I had to find the missing sides like I had to find on the first example, so here are those notes in red and green. Red for the 17 on this side, green for the 18 on this side, showing where I got those numbers from. And then adding all those sides up to get 70 inches for the perimeter of this irregular shape. The area, notice that I separated it into two shapes by drawing this line right here. First shape is a rectangle with dimensions of 17 and 13. Second rectangle has dimensions of 5 times 2. Did that calculation here, and my final answer for area is 231 inches squared. Again, if you need to pause the video, that's fine. If not, we keep going. All right, so now that you've gotten to this point, we have not assigned this yet. Your job right now is to work on this piece and then come back and we'll go over the answers. So you're doing the mixed review page, the proportion, all this review section of your test. So that's what you're going to work on right now, and then come back when you're ready to go over it. Okay, so let's go over these answers. Mixed review, 2/5 times 4 and 1/6. In order to multiply this, I have to make them both look like fractions. So I'm going to change 4 and 1/6 into a mixed number. I'm sorry, improper fraction. So 6 times 4 is 24, one more is 25. So 25 over 6. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. 25 times 2 is 50, 5 times 6 is 30, and there is my final answer. You can reduce it if you want to 5/3, but I would just leave it like that. Okay, when you add or subtract fractions, you need to have common denominators. One way to have common denominators is just to know and take a look and see what are multiples that you can use. Another way is your butterfly method. Either way, I'll show you an answer that you can get. 4 times 12 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12. And 12 times 6 is 72. So if you did the butterfly method, here's what you would have gotten. 48 minus 12 gets you 36 over 72. If you did it with 12s, that would work also. 36 divided by 72. You could get 1/2, or if you did 12ths, you would have gotten 6/12. But either way, those both reduce to 1/2. So double check in your calculator. If your answer reduces to 1/2, then your answer is probably right. So 36 over 72 would be a good answer. 6 over 12 is a good answer. 1/2 is a good answer. Those are all equal answers. Next one, same thing. Common denominator is needed. So I'm going to do my butterfly method. 3 times 7 is 21. 4 times 4 is 16. And 7 times 4 is 28. Add these guys up. 21 plus 16 gets me 37 over 28. And I'm just going to leave it like that. And the last guy, dividing problem, I have to leave, change inverse, or leave, change opposite. 6/7 times, flip it over to the multiplicative inverse, 9 over 2. And then multiply across. 54 times 14. There we go. Okay, and the next one, set up a proportion to solve. So if I am setting a proportion, I am setting up something that's comparing two things. Kevin earns $54 when he works 9 hours. So I am comparing money and hours. $54 for working 9 hours. Again, when you read one sentence, this goes into one fraction. Do not separate the 54 and the 9 into different fractions. $54 for 9 hours needs to go together in one sentence, in one fraction. How much would he earn working 12 hours? So the 12 needs to go here, where hours is, and my x is going to go here. Cross multiply to solve. You're going to get 9 times x is 9x. 54 times 12 is 648. To solve that, I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And I get x equals 72. 72 is a dollar amount because it goes right here. So $72 for working 12 hours. Next one, determine the sale price. With a 20% discount, how much would Mr. Martin spend on shampoo? That costs $15. So the 20% discount means take it off. So I'm taking off 20% from 100%, and I am paying 80%. So either way you do it, if you're doing part equals percent times whole, you're going to do 80% times the whole price, which is $15, to get your answer. The other way to do it is to set up a proportion with percent going over 100 and the part going over the whole. Either way you do it, you should get a price of $12. So double check your work, either doing it this way or cross multiplying, but you should get $12 as the sale price. And last but certainly not least, subtract -5 minus 7 and -2x minus 8. So I am writing that subtraction problem first. Minus -2x minus 8. I should probably put these in parentheses because of that minus sign. I don't want to confuse it with the negative sign. Okay, now I leave, change, inverse. Leave this guy alone. Change the subtraction sign to a plus sign. Take the inverse of 2x. -2x and I get 2x. -8 and I get plus 8. Now I'm going to combine like terms. -5x and 2x combines. This different sign subtract. -7 combines with a positive 8. Different sign subtract. And I get a positive 1 to take the sign of the larger number. Final answer, -3x plus 1. If you have some time, please work on the study guide, Unit 8 study guide with a partner, writing in the correct answers like this one. What are the area and circumference formulas for a circle? So you need to know what the area formula is and what the circumference formula is for a whole circle. And then go down and go through each question and help answer them. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.